Hi there, I'm Katrina, and this is Project Overload. So to start, I have my clustered Hyper-V servers, and right now they're running 3 VMs, which is my file servers that are clustered themselves, and then my IIS server. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to simulate some loss. I'm going to shut down Hyper-V 2, and what I should see on Hyper-V 1 here is that these running VMs should just transfer over, and it should still be up and running after the transfer. So if we shut down, and you can see here it's live migrating. Oh, so FS2 is on for 1, and FS1 is now on Hyper-V 1 as well. So those quickly transferred over with no loss. They are still up and running. And now if I go into my file server VMs, connect to both of them. And here is my clustered file server VMs. So they are in their own file cluster. This is their file server, which is using the shared volume. So right now it's running on FS2, that's the owner. So what I'll do is I'll shut, similar to the Hyper-V 1 and 2, I'll shut FS2 down, and it should just transfer over while it's still running. So if it's like actual failure, then the storage and volume, everything will stay up, and there would be no issues in an environment. So let's shut this down, and then we'll pop over here and see. So we see here now it's transferring to FS1, pending, and now it's still running. So we can access that. So I've got the tiny screen. But here is the shared volume. This is what we were looking at on the failover cluster manager. That shared volume here is also the testing files. All right, so now I'm going to demonstrate the backup server by intentionally removing my IIS server and then recovering it. So just showing that the IIS server is working. This is it here. This is its IP address. So it's Telnet server and serve IIS it did. So that's just my little thing I had there. We just need the IIS server, so it's running right now. So we're gonna do backup. So we're gonna do this, Hyper-V cluster backup. So right now the backup is running. So we're just gonna wait for that to finish, and then we come back, delete the IIS server, and then recover it again. All right, so now that it's backed up, what I'm gonna do is I'm going to delete it. So we're going to remove this, and we are going to restore it using this restore. This is Veeam, by the way, as you can probably tell. So we are just gonna restore it from the disk. So we're gonna store the entire VM. Okay, so it's going through the restore process, and I will get back when it's done and show that it's restored. Okay, so it looks like the restore is done, so we're just going to quickly pop over back to Hyper-V 1, and we see that IIS is back here. So let's just turn it back on and make sure everything is running like it was supposed to. All right, so it looks like it's up and running. Just gonna wait a little bit before we go back over and make sure that it's still able to be accessed from the internet. And we can just try and access it again. And we are still able to access it here. So the backup and restored work perfectly. Okay, so now we're on to the GPO demonstrations. So for demonstration 1A, this is about the password, length and complexity and stuff to demonstrate that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the password that I have here and ensure that it enforces the length and complexity rule. And then once I get a password that's good, I'm just going to try attempting to log in with just random password to make sure it locks me out after 3 attempts. 4 random things. So let's see, does not meet the length, complexity, or history requirements of the domain. Same thing if I were just to make it long. And again, that would be more the complexity part of it, because it met the length standard of it. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a better password that fits. Okay, so it's been changed. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to sign out. Okay, here. So instead, I'm just going to do some random things. It says here the password is incorrect. Let's try again. Another random, also incorrect, incorrect. And so that was my 3 tries. So now my account is currently locked out and cannot get back into. So we can see with an event viewer, this is by window logs and security. We can see that we can take a look at our logs here, and we see that that user had failed. This was each time I had tried it out, and you can see just that it's failed. And the location for the password settings for demonstration 1A, which I forgot to show. It's in the domain here, the GPO I created, because you want to get every single user within the domain. So with that, that would be in computer configuration. Then you would go to policies, then Windows settings, then security settings, then account policies, and then you have here, we have password policies just for the things like history, the age, and the length. And then this is for the account lockout policies. So now demonstration 2A, and I'm logged in as someone in the dorks department. So here we have the H drive, which is their like home directory in the user data, which is the hidden folder within my file server. So let's do new, so we can create a text document, we can delete it, and then same for the S drive, which is in like the corporate data hidden folder in the file server. This is for the actual department. So anyone within the department should see it. So they can create and delete as well. Okay, I'll just log into someone with the geeks department and do the same thing over there. So again, we have here, this is the geeks department. We have the H drive, which is their home directory. Create a file in the geeks department. And also create a file. And right now I'm just going to sign out and log in as a manager. And I'm in the manager's account. And here's their H drive. And here's the manager's S drive. So it is able to access the geeks and nerds, but it's not able to access the dorks, even though it can see it. So just won't let you in because they don't manage that department. And get into the nerds. They can add that. And also the geeks, which we still had left over from that other one we did. So we can still add. But now I'm going to log in as the CEO. Now I'm in the CEO's files. So this is for the C. This is CEO's home drive. And do all that. This is here is the S drive, so it can access all 3 dorks, geeks, where we still have the other files, and nerds. We have the one from the manager, and just to show, not sure if you need need to write something in every one, but I can do that here. And this is their own personnel, which includes the employee data. I didn't actually like make anything for this. This is where the employee data would be. This is kind of what I was getting out of that. I wasn't quite sure, so I just stuck with that. Now we're on to demonstration 3, which is the limited control panel and the wallpapers. So here is the prohibit access to control panel for PC settings. This is not enabled right now. This is for my dorks, but they still have access to their control panel. It's just limited. I had chosen to put them to the OU specific level just to make sure no other users get affected, like the managers or the CEO. And I created one for limited control within the group policy objects and linked it to dorks and nerds. So here, just because I didn't want to create two of the same thing. Since between the dorks and nerds, it wanted the same kind of things disabled, so I figured creating just the one and linking it to the two. Otherwise, it would just create another two. It would just create two of them, and that would just be a little too much. For the geeks, they have their own personal no control panel because they were the only ones getting affected by that. Is in for the limited control panel, it is in the user configuration because we're going by the user specific rather than computers. Within policies, admin templates, control panel, and it's here, hide specified control panel items. This is the same, this is for the dorks and the nerds, so we have it enabled. And these are the things that it gets rid of, that it hides from them. So when I log into them, I shouldn't be seeing any of these three things. And this is prohibit access to control panel and PC settings. So I just enabled that for the geeks, so they shouldn't have access to the control panel when I log in as them. And now for the wallpaper GPO. Since the wallpaper was different for each OU, I gave each OU their own specific wallpaper GPO, which led them to their own picture. So yeah, wallpaper, 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 and just to show where it is within the user configuration, policies, admin templates, similar to the control panel, but instead of that, you click desktop, desktop again, and here desktop wallpaper. And see, this is where it links. Right now it's hosting on my file server, and this is just the JPEG it has. So for each one it's the same, just a different picture. Alright, and for the screensaver timeout, I just applied that to the domain itself so all the users can get that. It seemed like it'd be okay for everyone to have that, not just the OU specific. So I did, it's a user-based thing, so went to policy, or went to user configuration, policies, admin templates, and you go into control panel, but you press personalization, and then here you just enable the screensaver and then also enable the screensaver timeout for the amount of time you'd like. So this is 600 seconds, which is 10 minutes. Okay, and finally, it is the auto log off, which I also applied to the domain in the GPO. So that is a computer-based thing. So it's computer, policies, Windows settings, security, local policies, security options. Before you get here, and we got interactive logon, machine inactivity limit, which I got to 1800 seconds, which is 30 minutes. So after 3 minutes, it will automatically log you off. So now what I'll do is, you might have already seen the wallpaper bit, but I can show, along with going to the different departments with different wallpapers, the control panel, what it looks like. So now I'm in the dork department. You can view the control panel, which is limited compared to, like, say, in my domain. So here we got the programs. Under here it's empty, same with user accounts. You don't have the ability to do any of these things. And so here's my first wallpaper. Okay, now I'm in the Nerds department. And the control panel should be the same as the doors. And you can see that it is nothing under user, nothing under programs, nothing underneath any of this. So that's perfect. And now I'm in the Geeks department. So as you see here, the Geeks do not have access to the control panel. So when I clicked on the control panel, it says the operation has been canceled due to restrictions and that stuff. So that's perfect, since I'm able to get in with limited on the dorks and the nerds, but I can't get in on the geeks. And also the geeks have a different wallpaper as well. Now it's for demonstration 4, folder redirection. So this, I made it an OU based thing. So it's right here. I had made it within group policy objects and just linked it to dorks, geeks, and nerds, since it could be applied to all of them without, there was no uniqueness to any of it, so I could just link it just fine. It's a per user basis because it's using their username. So that, policies, Windows settings, folder redirection, and then downloads. This is the one we want to change. So we have the basic, create a folder for everyone underneath the root path. And this is the root path here, which is my file cluster. And it's the user profile. So if we go back here, this is just an example. We can go to downloads, right click. Sorry about the size, but here is the location. It is on my file cluster under the user profile and create its own folder. And if in the downloads, I can create whatever, put that in folder. I can double check on my file cluster to make sure it went through. So it's under user profile. So she's the only one I've logged in so far to do it. And then here's her downloads here. And so I'll do, I'll just switch to another user to quickly do the same thing. And we can check here. Again, sorry about how tiny it is, but its location is also the same place. Perfect, it's created its own users folder. And we can also just double check again here. And there she is, she's appeared in here because it created the folder redirection. Now it's time for demonstration 5. First is the Firefox installation. So I have it set underneath the domain, so it could hit every client within the domain. It's a computer-based thing with the software, so it's under policies, software settings, software installation, and then here we have Mozilla Firefox. And it's assigned to be deployed. And let's take a look about the Firefox on the client computer. Here we are. Perfect. So it's installed and it can run. There you go. Now it's for the Edge startup page. So this was I created on a OU specific basis because each OU was going to a different website for on startup. So here, this is the dorks, and it's a user configuration, policy, admin templates, and it's Microsoft Edge. And then you go to startup homepage, a new tab page. And there's a couple things to configure, like configure the homepage URL, which is I set to google.com, take action on Microsoft Edge startup, and set to open when the browser starts. So each OU has a different website it goes to. So for anyone in dorks, it goes to Google, and I believe for nerds, it is Yahoo. And then for geeks, it was just Bing. So So yeah, for nerds, it's Yahoo, and then I believe it's just Bing for the geeks. So if we see here, right now I'm on a Nerds one, and press Edge, and it goes straight to Yahoo, just because of the configure. So this is the dork, so it should take us to Google upon startup of the Edge, which it does. Perfect. And finally, we'll go to someone from Geeks. You open it here, should go straight to Bing, which it does here. So it's on Bing. Perfect. So here's the printer, which is demonstration 6. So I just created one general group policy and linked it to the OUs because I just figured that was easier. It is a user policy thing. So it's user configuration, preferences, control panel, and then printers. So I have my printer printer-itas, which is a virtual printer set up. Okay, so now for the printer test. Right now we are in the manager's account, and we can go to printers and scanners. And now here is our printer iTask, which is the one we're sharing for the demonstration here. I also had a virtual printer on my file server. I wasn't sure exactly which one to use, so I had both. I could technically use both, but right now I'm just going to go with the one I have on my domain controller. So the manager can open and we can manage the printer properties. We can change anything we need to, preferences, hardware properties, anything. And if you open the test queue, here's the test pages. Here's some test pages from the CEO. And the manager has the ability to cancel and pause all printing, including some other stuff. So it's not just the CEO who can manage it. We can delete everything on here according to the manager. And print a couple test pages when I do a test on the CEO, which should have the same result. All right, now I'm in the CEO's account here, signed in, and we can also pause, and we can also open the print queue, and we see the ones from the manager, printer properties, references, hardware properties, and we can also control other people's printing. We can pause their printing, or we can cancel all documents and get rid of that. So I'm going to print a couple test pages on my CEO's account and then sign in as just a regular user with no actual permissions to do any other things than manage their own printing. So right now we're in the printers and scanners. Here we have the printer iTask. We can open the queue, or we can also press manage, but you have less abilities than you do with like the CEO or manager. So here we can see the test pages from the CEO. And if I try, I can't pause the printing, I can't cancel all documents. Now it's time for demonstration 7, which is showing the 2 ways to unlink a GPO and relink it again. So here's the first one, PowerShell remove GP link. We are going to remove the GPO that blocks the control panel from the Geeks OU. So we have here, this is the name of it, our target, the OU is Geeks, and our domain controller is Katrina Gibson, iTaskTalent.ca. So we are going to run this. Well, first we should just double check. So here, Geeks no control. I'm gonna run this. And let's take a look up here and refresh. So it is no longer there. And here we have to re-add it, new GP link, Geeks no control. And we can bring it back on here. So if we go back, we have it brought back. And as we see here, I went in to the Geeks No Control again just to make sure that it re-enabled what it already had before. So prohibited access to control panels is enabled. So it brought back perfectly. It didn't delete anything that I had in this GPO. Another way to do it is to set the GP link for the Geek No Controlled, the target again, but this time to link enabled no, which means it severs the link, which makes it not enabled, so it's not in use. We can do that. So we see here it's no longer enforced or link enabled, so it would not be going on to the Geeks thing. It wouldn't be applied to the Geeks. And just to bring it back, it is very easy with this one. It's the exact same thing, but instead of link enabled no, it's link enabled yes. So there you go. So this time, instead of like deleting the entire thing, it just severed the link. And so it's brought back. So if you refresh, it is now link enabled again. So it would be able to apply to the Geeks OU now. Now, finally, for demonstration 8, it is the Forest Trust demonstration. So just showing this is my WMD talent. This is my WMD talent DC. So here's my shared folder I have, WMD shared. And it is the report of secrets text file. And here it shows the trust between the ITAS talent domain and the WMD talent domain. So this is the trust type. So it's trusted for outgoing trust and incoming trusts. This is on my WMD domain within the domains and trust part. And just quickly before I get into the client, this is just my drive map. I created a separate GPO for the WMD shared just to keep track of it for myself. Right now it's only linked to the Dorks OU. So it's under the drive K, and it's sharing the WMD talent DC and the shared folder WMD shared, which had the report of secrets in it. This is basically the same kind of place as the previous drive map I showed with the S drive, where instead for that one, it was Dorks drive map, same place, but you have the S drive. All right, now I'm on the one client's PC. She's just in the Dorks user, which I had for the K drive to map to. So here it is, the WMD talent shared, report of secrets coming from WMD talent DC. And now I finished all the demonstrations. Just want to double check to show you that I have everything in the users and computers. So here's the CEO, I have the manager, I got the nerds, I got the geeks, and I got the dorks. I'm not sure if I had mentioned this, but for the H drive mapping, I put it within here, the home folder, and is within the test file, so that is the file cluster server. It's under user data, and they each get their own home folder as well. All right, that is my project overload. Thanks for listening.